yeah. So I just copied, yep, the data broker pre-processed JSON file and put it over here. And we changed that name, of course, like we always do. Begin. The directory has to drop here instead of file load. You got that already, I see that. Data file, that can come out because that's the contents. We don't want that. There is no return, so data file here, that console log can come out. And there is no return, so we're not going to actually return anything. And yeah, you have the data file on line your 82. Yeah, that whole line can go. Okay, so we're gonna need director is, yeah, we got that. All right, if now I've actually modified this function and give it some enhancements, which is why we have this enable files list limit and hit file limit and you know it's some of these other things, right? So I've enhanced it a little bit. So
Okay.
this function could be more basic. It'd be a little bit more, a little simpler, but I enhanced it because I wanted to be able to use it for other purposes.
You think you can zoom in a little bit? Just
Yeah,
a
I can
tad?
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so if hit file limit equals false, directory equals path dot resolve directory, and I'm going to put a note here. Make sure to, well, we could leave that off because it's a given. We don't need to have the note. Directory, let current directory path equal directory. Let current directory equal empty string. And then we do a try for a try catch. Let's start doing that safety dance again. Current directory equals fs file system dot read dir sync. Read directory synchronous. And we're going to pass it the current directory path. And we need to give it the all uppercase UTF-8 is the encoding for the file. So read it with that ASCII UTF-8 encoding standard. And then here we have a catch. E again. Catch block fs.mkdir sync, which stands for make directory synchronous. And we're going to make that current directory path. Basically, what we're anticipating here is we failed to read the directory synchronously because the directory doesn't exist. But even that could still be a problem. So normally what it would do is put this into another try catch and to make it even like more redundant and safe. But I think this is sufficient. It should be fine. Because it could have failed because of a corrupted sector or other reasons. So trying to impose a failure and a resolution to that failure on your code is a little bit dangerous. So we're living a little bit on the wild side here. It's UTF-8, no, all uppercase.
This is what it comes back with. Look.
Yeah, see, right there at the bottom. But I would say all caps. I'll make it all caps. UTF-8. It may come back with that because I don't think caps actually matters. But it's it's good. I try to stick to all uppercase always for these things. Current directory equals fs.
What's the difference between UTF-8 and UTF-8?
There may not be a difference. It may just be how the function is handled internally.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I'm going to copy paste this line right here. And I'll just put it under that. It's duplicated line. Okay, so after the catch, current directory dot for each file, and then we've got an arrow function. So for each file, we're calling it another function, passing the file to that function. It's, yeah, arrow functions can be funky. Okay, let files should be skipped equal directories to skip.index of file. Okay, so if that is greater than -1, let path of current item equal directory plus / plus file. And I see a typo here in my other code. Okay. Now we have another try. And this, by the way, should be, I believe this should be, yes, this has to be a semicolon at the bottom of that one. Oops, I should say for each. I think you're missing a U. SHOULD. Oops, I'm missing it. Hold on. And then we'll have a try block, which is going to have 3 nested ifs, and this is when it gets a little bit messy. If not files should be...
Another try catch, you said?
Yeah, it's inside another try. I'm going to do the catch at the very end. Or not. Maybe we'll do the catch right now. Catch E, and there's an error message here. Catch the error in the hopes that we can continue scanning the file system. And console.log error invalid access to $ curly brace. Oops, this should be with backticks. Since I can do inline stuff. Okay. $ curly brace path of current item. If files should be skipped, and fs.stat sync path of current item dot is file, and that's a function. Then we can do the bracket. Basically, it's looking up the statistics information, or the static information about the file, and determining if it is a file. Because if it is a file, then we want to continue. Okay, so you got that one. Now we say enable files list limit equals true, and files list limit is greater than 0. And then we have another if files collection dot length is less than or equal to files list limit. And I'm going to do a commented out console here. You could put it in here and then comment it out.
What's this? Why is it there?
Less than or equal to.
Oh, duh. Okay, yeah.
No, yeah.
Because I thought you were doing another function like this.
Yeah, no, it's just less than or equal to.
But I'm overthinking it.
I could see why you would get the arrow function, like it's going the other direction.
Yeah, I'm like, why is it going the wrong way? Okay.
And I had one of my students asked, he said, well, what if you wanted to do greater than or equal to? Wouldn't that be the arrow function? And so I had to just explain that, no, it would just be like that. And
Greater or equal to, right?
yeah. And so then he's like, oh, okay, I get it now.
But what if, what's the arrow function? Equal to, or what is it? No, it wouldn't work, right? Equal
Yeah,
to,
it won't
yeah.
work. That's right. And the syntax is, that's why they have that arrow function. Anyways, okay. Console log, I have an error message here. Did not hit the file limit yet. And the reason why I do this is because, and I'm just going to comment it out, is because sometimes you get into these weird cases where something isn't working right and you need to debug your function. So it's helpful and useful to have some of these console logs sort of pre-scattered or salted around, inside your function, so that when you do need to debug it, you've got them there all ready to go.
Right.
Okay. Next is files collection dot push path of current item. Now the push is going to take the path of this item and it's going to push it just like you would like an array, or a stack. It's going to push this onto a stack. In this case, we're using the array as a stack, and that's what the push is doing. So it's useful to think of an array as a stack, and we're going to push it, like you push and pop.
Mm-hmm.
Those are one of the things you learn about in data structures. We're going to be using push and pop in a number of places. It's useful to add stuff to arrays very easily. Okay, there's another console log here that's going to ultimately be commented out. Console log. Files collection is json.stringify files collection. And then I'm commenting that out. After that curly brace, we need an else. And we'll say console.log hit the file limit. Double exclamation, and comment that out.
Oh, another console log.
Yeah, but it's a pretty simple one. Just a simple message.
Okay.
And then we need to say hit file limit equals true. So we're setting it. And we're going to return. Now, something interesting about that return. You would think that we're returning from the function read directory contents, because that's the function, right? That declares this function.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's returning from this arrow function.
Okay. Yeah.
If I didn't explain that to you, you would have, and then you go in and try to debug it, and you're like, what is this? It's still in the function. I returned already. What? You're going to beat your head against the wall. But once you know, that's returning from this function right here, which is an arrow function, so it's hidden.
Right.
Yeah, you sometimes JavaScript can do bendy stuff with the code, and you gotta stay sharp,
Yeah, that makes sense though. All right.
Yep. All right. So yeah, you got to stay sharp about JavaScript sometimes, and otherwise it'll keep you honest, and you're not going to necessarily like it. Okay, I'm going down one. We're going to have another else here, and there's another console log here. Log. Add the file the old-fashioned way. Okay. And I'll comment that out. Files collection dot push path of current item. We have to have an else if not files should be skipped. And there's a big note here. Note, there is a difference in how paths are handled in Windows versus Mac Linux. So for now, I'm putting this code here like this to handle both situations. Oops. Situations. The ideal solution would be to detect which OS the code is being run on, then handle each case appropriately. A couple lines here. Let directory path. Oops, this is not commented. Okay. Let directory equal empty string. Directory path equals path dot resolve. Directory
path
plus forward slash. I'm going to escape the forward slash, so it's double forward slash. And then console.log. Directory path is. Oops, backticks. Backtick. $, curly brace, directory path, and backtick again. Okay. Yep, and then comes the magic line. Recursively call it. Read directory synchronously. And then we just pass directory path, and that's it. We got one more small function to write, plus its header and module exports. Now, this is a boilerplate function. We're going to use it in the future. Function clean root path. It doesn't take any parameters, and the header. It's going to seem like this is stupid, you know, especially since it's an empty function. But let's just do it anyways, because we're going to need it in the future. Function clean root path. At description takes the application root path and cleans it to give a real root path for top level folder path for the application. And it's going to return a string. Description is the real root path for top path for the application. There's a note in here. This has been problematic because often many of the init functions are contained in lower level folders. That's a comma. Okay. Not at the top level. This gives much greater level of organization to the overall project and helps with scalability and reusability.
What does it return? No, sorry, there's no param, right? No param.
No param, yeah, it just returns a string.
And it returns a string?
Yep. At date 01/12.
And what does that say? The the real
Yeah, the real root
path.
or top level path for the application. I'm just going to go up to this get JSON data and I'm just going to copy that and drop it here in this clean root path.
Where are you copying from?
The first function in this file, all the way at the top. Yeah,
Okay.
JSON data. And it doesn't take a param, so we'll wipe out everything below the... And clean root path goes here for the function name. Let root path, and I'm not going to assign it to anything. I'll give an extra line. And then this root path, I'm going to do a console log root path is, and we don't need the JSON stringify, and just put the root path right there, and we'll get rid of that extra parenthesis. The end stays the same, and we return the... Now we do need to do the export module.exports curly brace. Okay, we're going to do 3 functions here. Get JSON data, path, and file name, arrow function, get JSON data, path, and file name. Okay, next, read directory contents. Directory, read directory contents, directory. And read directory synchronously. Directory, arrow function, read directory synchronously. Directory. Now we move on to the next one.
But that's it with this file?
Yeah, that should be it with this.
Okay.
We've got 2 more files to go.
Uh-huh.
You know what? Do you have a few extra minutes? We could do 1 file here.
Okay.
And it's got some short contents. Let's just get this out of the way, because actually it'll allow us, I think, to actually start to build out some stuff. Under source, sources, we need a new folder called configuration. Just like we had under test, resources, configuration. And then under this configuration, we're going to have a new file called framework.system.json. Yep, and then we'll have open close curly brace. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parameters. So system.date timestamp.
System
year, month, date, dash, hour, second, and millisecond. And then we'll have system.date stamp. System dot So I finished the rest of them here.
system dot enable debug configuration settings.
And you'll remember that was the setting we used yesterday in
Yeah,
file.
right.
Yeah, I'll let you go. We got 2 more files to do, and then we're done with training one branch.
Awesome.
We're getting close, and these last 2 files we're probably not going to be using right now. Sort of getting us started into training 2. And then I would like us to test this out and make sure stuff is loading. So that's I think the next major step.
All right, man. All right, sounds good, Seth. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
All right. Yeah, have a good
Have a
evening.
good evening.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.